All right, everybody, welcome back to No Glitches Allowed 2026. I am your host for the next couple runs. My name is Champ Rule, and speaking of the next couple runs, we are speeding through this marathon and we are ready for our next run. It is Octopath Traveler with Laurie. Laurie, take it away.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is LaurieDBunnykins, and welcome to one of my favorite RPGs ever. This is Octopath Traveler. This game is really cool. It's got these really cool bite-sized speedruns because we can play as 8 characters, all with their own story. And the kind of conceit of a lot of this game's run is the single story, where we're going to pick just one character and focus entirely on their story and their story alone. With that being said, though, this was a bid war, which means I still don't know what story I'm playing yet. So Champrul, who am I playing as?
Yes, so with the bid war, in the lead is with $20 is Primrose the Dancer.
Oh, okay. Y'all have given me a fun one, that's for sure. Primrose is a very fun but very difficult route to perform. So this one will be fun. This will be fun now. So with that being said, time will start when I hit yes to begin my adventure here, which I will do in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, have fun.
So Primrose is a pretty interesting character. She's very notable for being a side character in a lot of other character stories, because you do... Like, Primrose isn't the only character we're going to be playing as. And when you do that, you can skip a character's opening cutscenes. But the character we start the game as, we have to go through, like, their whole Chapter 1 cutscenes and all. So, like, we get to see all of this, which we normally don't. But it gives us a good time to go over the basics of the game. Octopath Traveler, there are 8 characters, each with 4 chapters to their story. And we are going to focus on getting starting with Primrose, and getting to the end of her story, finishing her 4th chapter as fast as possible. In this game, there are 8 characters, but you can have up to 4 in your party at one time, and each of them have a path action, which is a little way that NPCs can interact, or you can interact with NPCs on the overworld. So, for example, here we are going to allure this gentleman here, which is going to let him come with us. And if we were to get into a battle with an NPC that we guide, we can summon them into battle to fight alongside us. It's a pretty interesting effect. It's not bad at all, but it definitely has its uses in some runs more than others. And while it's not going to be like the best ability ever in this run, since this is Primrose's chapter, the game kind of wants to introduce us to the mechanic. So the boss fight is going to be pretty tricky if we do not bring a companion with us. So we allure the woman just right outside of our first dungeon here, and she's going to be really useful for the boss fight. But speaking of the first dungeon, we can talk a little bit before we get to our boss fight about this game's battle system. This battle system is commonly referred to as the break and boost system. Enemies have shield points and weaknesses. Hitting the weaknesses will lower the shield points. Lowering the shield points to 0 will break the enemy, which leaves them completely stunned, and also they take double damage. So it's a really strong thing to be able to do, and we're going to be doing it all over the run just to try and get the upper hand on anything we have to fight. I also took the opportunity in this dungeon to grab an item called a Soul Stone, which is just a set damage item that we can throw at enemies. And it's going to be really, really helpful for the boss fight coming up. Speaking of the boss fight coming up, I'll explain the boost half of the break and boost battle system as we get into the fight against Helgenashir. So the boosting, if you notice on the top right, I have this like small orange dot, and I'm about to get another one as the next turn starts. Pretty much I can spend up to 3 of these in one turn to boost the strength of my attacks, which will make them just really strong, pretty much. you can either make attacks stronger or you can make them hit multiple times with attacks like your basic attack, which can be really good for like breaking through shield points. Thankfully, with the NPC we allured in this fight here, it's actually just really easy for us to get through the boss's shield points and take him out, and that's going to be the end of Primrose Chapter 1.
I do not like the way he was just sitting in that chair. I gotta be real.
Yeah, that's fair. At this point, though, we are kind of in the open. From this point, anywhere that we can get to, like, we can do things there. So it's entirely up to us, or me specifically today, I guess, where to go next. So, of course, what I'm going to do is get caught by surprise by the first enemy I encounter in the overworld.
I am ready.
But the big conceit of once we have full access to the overworld is like, hey,
I am ready.
what's good? You know, what's good in this game? What tools do we want? What characters do we want to recruit to our party? Unfortunately, I'm getting very bad luck running away from this cactus beetle. But this is turn 4, so it should be guaranteed. Yep, there it is. I'm just gonna heal immediately. So that brings into question what's really good about the characters in this game and things like that. So our first goal is going to be to get the Scholar job. Scholars in this game have a really useful support skill, which you get support skills by teaching people enough standard skills.
I am ready.
And there is a support skill you get very early on in the Scholar job called Evasive Maneuvers, which this game's encounter system runs on a step counter. It generates a number. Every time you take a step, that number goes down. Once it hits 0, you get an encounter. Evasive Maneuvers basically just adds a giant multiplier to that step counter, so that we'll be getting encounters a lot less. And with that, we will have the distance to, like, go through entire, like, high-level screens without getting into an encounter, which will make things a lot easier for us in terms of, like, getting to, like, late-game areas.
May I?
Unfortunately, getting an extra encounter on the screen. I picked up another soul stone there. I should also explain a little bit of how I'm going to be getting the Scholar as fast as possible. Because there's kind of two answers to this. One of them is getting the Scholar character, Cyrus, and the other is finding the Scholar job, because you can get each job, like, an extra version of it on the overworld, and give it to any character of your choosing. It's usually pretty up and down depending on the route, like which one people will go for. But I actually have something that will help me kind of do the second option, the one where I get the job and then give it to someone else. I am using a speedrun mod called the Kate mod. If you've played an RPG, you might be
I am ready.
familiar with the idea of rare encounters. They're hard to find, they're hard to kill, but they grant a lot of good experience if you manage to get them. This game has its own version of that, the Kate, and we have a mod in speedrunning that forces Kates to show up on a certain screen. It is not, like, official. The leaderboards, or whether you use the mod a lot or not, are separate. But Kates actually do give you enough experience and job points to, like, massively shake up the route. So there are some people that use the mod so that they can do these, like, more unique routes. I just got one. This is not the screen where they're forced to spawn. This is just a random encounter one. We're gonna see if I can kill it. It has a very high likelihood to run away. It did not run away.
I am ready.
Thankfully, I got this soul stone. If our summon hits the bottom here, or just does flurry, there we go. Yeah, so that's the rare encounter we wanted to take out. Oh, she's also tanking damage for me. You're the best, girl. Oh, she's the best. Yeah, so that's not the screen where we were gonna get the forced encounter, but that's the encounter we were looking for. So that, yeah, as you see, we are level 14 now. I went to go heal, but I forgot I leveled up like 10 times. So that's why those are really good. But now we just need to make our way to that Scholar Shrine that I mentioned. so we can pick the job up and get the benefits. I am, unfortunately, very much struggling to run away from every enemy I encounter. It's usually a pretty, like, tricky situation. A lot of people prefer to run characters who start closer to the Scholar for this purpose.
I'm ready.
It just makes, like, this part of the run easier when you're running down paths trying to get to, like, where you need to go as fast as possible. It's kind of especially bad for Primrose. Actually, fun fact, all 4 of the characters in this bid war are the 4 characters in the game whose starting job only gives them 1 weapon. Some characters, their starting job will give them 2 physical weapons. Well, Primrose only has 1. And the reason why this is important to bring up is because we have less opportunities to, like, break enemies on the overworld, which just makes things harder for us.
Fair.
So this is the screen. This is the screen where, using the mod I mentioned, we would have a forced encounter. But since I already killed one, I'm going to opt to not kill a second one, just to not mess with the route too much.
Do we have time for an update?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so firstly, I want to welcome everybody. If you're just now joining us, welcome to No Glitches Allowed 2026. We are here raising money for Go Rescue, a dog shelter in Hampton, Virginia, that they help to provide a haven for homeless dogs. And right now, we have 2 things open right now for your donations that will make a very exciting end to this marathon, in my opinion. For one, you can nickname, or you can give the nickname of a blooper in Super Mario Mon. Just whatever name you want, put it with your donation. You can attach it to that incentive or to that bid war when you're donating. Give the blooper a name. And then it is a 2-for-1 because we also have a milestone open right now at $3,000 total throughout the marathon. If we reach it before the end of Blueprints, we will see a bonus game of Cuphead. More marathon and Cuphead sounds like a win to me. It's a 2-for-1. If you attach it to nicknaming the blooper, it automatically goes towards that 3,000 milestone. And exclamation incentives in chat and exclamation donate for the link to be able to donate, everybody.
Let's go. I love Cuphead. That's a great name.
Yes.
So, trying to get the Scholar Shrine, what you might have noticed is I was walking on this screen that had a really powerful encounter that killed me. And the reason I was walking is just because before you get evasive maneuvers, walking makes the step counter decrease fast. So it gives you less encounters, but it's still, like, slower. But now we have evasive maneuvers, which actually makes it so it doesn't matter whether we're running or walking, the step counter depletes the same. But we also, like, as you can see, we can just run so much farther without getting into an encounter here. So we're going to tag Noble Court here. Tagging is something we already did a little bit earlier. Basically, what it means is just we're picking somewhere up so that we can fast travel to it later. As you can see right here, I'm going to fast travel just to reset my step counter after getting that chest. We can, like, fast travel pretty freely in this game. As soon as we've gone to a town, you can just, like, go there whenever you want, pretty much. And it makes the traversal really nice in this run. Especially with characters like Primrose, whose chapters are quite literally all across the map. She starts at the southmost region in the game. This is not the right way to go. She starts at the southmost region in the game and has a chapter 2 at the northmost region in the game. So it's really nice for her, especially, to just have that level of fast travel. But now that we have evasive maneuvers, now that we have a few good tools, we are going to start recruiting some of these characters that we want to round out our party with. Starting off, we're going to pick up the only character in this run that was also a part of the bid war. So for all you Cyrus fans who are sad that he didn't win, we're still going to be playing with him. We're just not going to be doing his story for the most part. When we pick up a character in this game, we do need to complete their first chapter. But we can skip all the cutscenes leading up to the boss. So we are going to have to fight Cyrus's first boss, but after that, we're not going to do anything else in his story. Cyrus is the base scholar, like we mentioned, so we get the evasive maneuvers from the Scholar Shrine just to kind of immediately pick up another scholar. But there's still some really cool stuff he can do, and also having evasive maneuvers allows us to get the medium soul stone, which we are going to use to absolutely tear through Cyrus's first boss here. So I mentioned soul stones in the first boss as like a item that allows you to do just like throw set magic damage at an enemy. We just got a medium version of those, which is going to be really helpful for dealing with this fight here against Russell. We're going to take care of the enemies in the back and then set up Russell to get broken on turn 2. And then Primrose is just going to throw out another spell here. And Cyrus is going to throw out this medium soul stone for 2200 damage, which is a lot this early in the game, but might not quite hold up later. For now, though, that's going to be the end of Cyrus's first chapter, so we have our second character in the party. We do have to, funnily enough, even though we don't have to do the cutscenes leading up to the boss fight when we recruit a new character, we do have to do the ones after. So I do have to like walk over and say hi to this guy who's going to fire Cyrus. And we're just going to leave it at that for the rest of time. But Cyrus is a pretty good character. He notably has the Scrutinize path action on the overworld, which means I can walk up to this girl here, and she's going to tell me where a hidden item is. And we can pick it up just right here, and it's another medium soul stone. So hey, that's really good damage. Scrutinizing is really helpful just throughout the whole game. There's all sorts of things, not just hidden items, but also like you can get extra stuff in the shops. You can make certain other path actions easier if you scrutinize the right people. It's a really, really, really useful ability. So like, I'm gonna try and get a pretty low chance scrutinize against this NPC here, which went perfectly. And then I'm also gonna do it against this guy here. And then I'm gonna pick up the 2 hidden items that they dropped, or that they told me about. And we're going to head to Rippletide. Rippletide was a small town I tagged earlier, even before I had evasive maneuvers, and it has Tressa. Tressa is the best character in the game. More specifically, the merchant job is the best job in the game from a speedrun perspective. The merchant has a skill called Hired Help, which we will be using later to absolutely destroy some bosses. For now, though, she's pretty normal. We just have to get through her chapter 1, like we did with Cyrus, and there's not too much going on other than that. So, Champ, if you have any like announcements or anything of the sort, now would be a great time.
Absolutely. So yeah, just to kind of reiterate stuff on what we have open right now, we do have that bid war to name a blooper in Super Mario Mon. You can decide the name of Iron's starter and main Mario Mon used throughout the run based on the iconic Mario enemy, the blooper. So the squid that Mario stomps on in the water, which I've never quite understood how that works with physics, but it's Mario, so we won't question it. But again, when you donate, you can attach it to that bid war on the donation page and give that blooper a nickname.
Now, funny story, because of the like circumstances around Tressa's story, if we were to get into an encounter in this dungeon I'm in right now, the enemies would just be asleep, which I find pretty funny. It definitely makes actually her chapter 1 not too bad when you're playing her story first, like without evasive maneuvers, but it's not too bad regardless. Coming up, we are going to change this fight a little bit depending on who goes first, but I'm going to defend these two so that they can break the guy on the bottom here, and then throw a large soul stone. So we've done small soul stones, medium soul stones. These are the large. When an enemy is broken, it does 5,400 damage. And that's definitely a better number. Mick and Mac, notably, these like Chapter 1 bosses do scale the more characters you have in your party. But since Mick and Mac are 2 bosses, they have like a larger health pool with like lower individual health. So like usually you would need to put in a little bit more effort to take out like this like 3 character Chapter 1 boss, but since their health is lower, it's a lot easier to deal with. But Tressa's actually the last character we're going to pick up for a little bit. And we're going to start doing some big exploration. Now, the exploration phase of this run is pretty interesting in every category because there are some very centrally good areas, pretty much, that a lot of characters want to, like, make use of. However, some of them are very out of the way, depending on what, like, areas the character needs to go to complete their story. So, that kind of, a lot of the exploration phases across the different characters in this game, like, you'll see a lot of similar landmarks, but the way they go about it can be very, very different. Primrose, notably, does not have any chapters in the Coastlands area, which is, like, the eastern beach area that we just picked up Tressa from. Usually that's a very good area to go to because someone would have, in most cases, in like most stories, someone either has a chapter in the southeast of the map or on the east of the map, and you would be able to pick up the merchant job. I mentioned that Tressa is really good because the merchant is one of the strongest jobs in the game, and that is true. Just about every story does not only pick up Tressa, but then also opts to go to the coast above me to get the merchant job, like, and have 2 merchants on your team, just because of how strong it is. Primrose, the reason why I say mostly, is an exception to this rule. And y'all actually ended up donating for the only character, at least in my bid war, that forgoes getting a second merchant. We're still going to use a lot of what makes the merchant broken, but we're only getting 1. So, you're definitely in for one of the more interesting routes with this pick, I'd say. Granted, I think every route in this game is interesting. That's why I play all of them, or most of them. But, like, that's why I think it's really cool that this one got picked, because if you're not familiar with this game, you might not realize how silly we're gonna get with it. But speaking of something silly we get to do here, as we get to Everhold, I'm going to save and reload the game. This is the step count. The step counter gets reset when you load a save. So by like saving and reloading in the middle of this screen, it's going to let us go really, really far without getting an encounter. As you can see, I'm still going, and this town is so far away, but I still got it. So this is actually where Primrose's final chapter will take place. But I'm not there yet. We're far away from that, so...
I'm familiar with this part. That's chapter 2?
This one's chapter 4. Chapter 2 is up to the north.
Okay, are we gonna be doing like some weird stuff with chapter 2?
No, it's normal chapter 2.
Okay, I'm relieved then.
I'm aware you were hosting for... Were you hosting for Mocha Jones running the second game?
Commentating. Hosted. Did I host for that? I commentated for both. Yeah, so I commentated for Mocha for Octopath 2, but then also commentated for Octopath 1 at SGDQ last year. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of back and forth with chapter 2, and I felt like I was in a bad relationship with it.
Yeah, so this game, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you ask, and by who I mean you, I guess, has a much more straightforward story structure. No character has multiple chapter 2s. There is just 1 through 4.
I feel so much better.
Yeah. But we do take this time to go to this secret cave down here and get $50,000 from 1 treasure chest, which is kind of a lot of money. And then I have to pick up an item from talking to this old lady who just does not want to talk to me today. Jeez. There we go. So Cyrus and Primrose as well are considered rogue characters, which means their path action can work on anyone immediately, as opposed to requiring the character to be a certain level for their like pickup to work. But it's a percent chance, and you can fail the percent chance, and if you fail like enough path action chances in the same area, your reputation will suffer, which means you can't do any path action on anyone in the city until you restore it at the tavern. So that is kind of a risk that characters like like Primrose and Cyrus and Therion, who is another really good character who can steal items. That's a trouble that they run into in their runs, is that sometimes they'll need to do like a risky path action, and they won't get it in enough tries that they'll either have to reload a save or spend money to fix the problem. Thankfully, I got like the scariest path action in this run, which was back in Noble Court when I like scrutinized the person right at the start of town. That one's like a 30% chance, but I got it first try. So we didn't have to deal with the potential consequences of me like just getting unfortunate there. But speaking of Therion, we are actually on our way to get our fourth and final character for our party. There are some characters in this game that get to, like, that have good enough fight strategies that, they can actually beat the whole game. Like, it's optimal for the single story to only pick up a party of 3. Primrose is not one of them. Spoiler alert, Primrose probably has, like, the most brutal final boss in the whole game. Casually or in a speedrun sense. So we're gonna want to do everything we can to pick up, to like get ready for that final boss. So we are
So
going
what
to
you're saying
recruit.
is that with, I was gonna say, you're saying with the bid war, it sounds like we picked a good bid war option here.
Well, I mean, I think that, again, I think they were all good. I think it's really interesting
Fair.
that some stories can be beaten without, without a fourth character in the game designed for you to have a 4-character party, but
Fair. That is fair.
I also think this is still one of the most fun and interesting, like, routes. So
We went either way.
Yeah.
I like it.
we win either way. So yeah, Therion actually will introduce us to a very funny quirk, which is that if a dungeon is a mansion dungeon, its screen transition will not reset the step counter. So we get into an encounter here. I opt to get into an encounter here because we have a few medium soul stones that are like, we're not going to use them on boss fights. So I actually have the resources to just throw one here instead of like resetting the step counter by resetting the game or something of that nature. Unfortunately, I got ambushed. If you don't get ambushed in an enemy fight, usually you have someone guaranteed to move first. But since I got ambushed, I don't have that.
Let's get this over.
Which made the encounter a little bit slower, unfortunately.
I'm ready.
But this is going to be a pretty fast fight. This is the last Chapter 1 fight we're doing against Heathcote, and I'm just going to throw 2 large soul stones at the problem, and he's no longer a problem. But that's the last time a fight is going to be this easy. So
I
after
gotta
this
say, I'm
last...
excited to see this final boss.
Yeah, after the last bit of cutscenes here, we get Therion in our party. Like I mentioned earlier, Therion is the thief. He is able to steal items from people, which is usually pretty good. This one has a pretty good balance between using Tressa's path actions to buy items off of people, and also Therion's ability to steal if the steal is too risky or the item is too expensive. There's a lot that goes into that. The money routing in this game is pretty precise because of something that we're going to do to make the boss fights go down very quickly. Speaking of which, we are finally on our way to the town for Primrose's Chapter 2, which will we'll finally get a taste of what later game boss fights in this game are going to look like, or in this run, rather. So we're gonna make our way up here to the snowy area. And this is like a really big field of snow, pretty much. And the town is on the right side. So there's going to be a side dungeon, like 2/3 of the way through the screen. Here it is. I'm just going to step in there. That's going to reset my step counter. I'm going to step back out, and we're going to be able to make it to the town without getting into a fight. So now we're finally in Primrose Chapter 2. Primrose's story is pretty interesting to basically just go over the main idea. A like group of criminals killed her dad, and she's tracking them down. As you do. So we're gonna buy a few items here just to make equipment easier. And then we're going to pick up... That's not the right... It's fine. We're trying to pick up a few items in this town while we're here. I think it's you? Yeah, I think it's this guy. There it is. Yep. Cool. Just to get us a little more money in the late game. Also, Magic Act, the girl in the top left of this building, is going to turn into a treasure chest after we skip the cutscene.
That sounds perfectly normal.
Yeah. You know how it is. So now we are going to just finish... Nope, that's not what I want to do. There we go. We are going to use our path action just to get the story moving a little bit. And once we talk to this guy, we will be able to get into the second dungeon. So this dungeon is pretty simple. All dungeons in this game are pretty simple, honestly. This game is just kind of a lot of caves, really. Primrose actually has a lot of mansions, too, because she's, like, again, she's trying to hunt down a bunch of people in power. But this one is a cave. This one is a secret path to a cave. So this dungeon, very thankfully, has a cutscene in the middle of it that's going to just, like, reset our step counter so that we don't get into an dungeon here, or an encounter here. But after I skip this cutscene, there's going to be a chest down here. This chest is purple, which means we need Therion in our party to open it. But once this is done, we are actually going to do some menuing. We are going to teach a few skills to get ready for the next boss fight, and also put some equipment on some of our characters. We bought these equipments at the shop called the Empowering Rings, which increase the max health of whoever's wearing it by 200. Each character can wear 2 rings at a time. So it increases all of our health by 400. Which is just really nice to have. I was also supposed to give Cyrus an item we picked up earlier that will independently raise his max HP a little bit, which is just good for surviving certain hits. With that being said, though, I'm going to save just outside this boss because it is finally time for the boss of Primrose Chapter 2. So the first turn here is actually going to be made really nice thanks to an ability we got called Spearhead, which Primrose is going to use here. It will be a spear attack that also moves her action first on the next turn. From here, I just need these characters to survive the turn, which it looks like they are. And we're going to set up to break Rufus here. Yep, everyone survives the turn. Pretty good. So the main conceit of our boss strategy going forward is going to be 2 skills that we got. The first one I already used is Therion's Armor Corrosive, which lowers the physical defense of whoever I target with it. The second one of these is a merchant skill called Hired Help. Hired Help allows us to spend money, and in return, soldiers or whoever we hire will come in to fight for us. The highest tier of hired help costs $30,000 to use, and it does that. Now Goss is alive. I'm not a fan of that. Surely there's something I can do. I should have an extra one of these. I'm just gonna throw it, and I know how many I should have for the final boss.
Not bad. A passing.
Actually, I think I know I can pick up an extra in this town right here. So I'm going to grab this girl because she has a really good ability, and then I'm going to talk to this girl here, building a snowman. And she should have an item that makes up for the one I just used. Yes, she does. Go me. So I'm also going to quickly take the opportunity to switch that warrior job we just used on Primrose for that fight over to Cyrus, and then also teach him a fire spell here, as well as teach Therion Shackle Foe, which is just the attack version of Armor Corrosive. It lowers the physical attack of the enemy instead of the defense. So also really nice for just surviving attacks from later game bosses. We are going to take a small detour here to grab a lot of money from a side dungeon up in this northern area. This is a pretty big dungeon for a couple of runs. And notably, it has $30,000, which is the exact cost of our top tier hired help, as well as an armor piece, which armor is obviously good. Like, having good armor helps us live a lot, but also it sells for a lot of money. And like, as I mentioned, we like money in this run. So coming up, we're headed to Primrose Chapter 3 in Noble Court, one of the towns I was in earlier. That's this really, like, fancy place that Primrose actually grew up in. And this chapter's pretty straightforward. We're going through a lot of cutscene, and then we're going to kind of just get to the dungeon. There's not too much going on in terms of gameplay. But this is where things pick up. Like, things are just going to keep picking up in terms of fight difficulty. So, Champ, if you have any announcements you want to make as I get through this third dungeon, please feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to remind everybody, you are watching No Glitches Allowed 2026. No Glitches Allowed is an annual charity event featuring speedruns that rely more on execution of intended mechanics than game-breaking glitches. We are here raising money for Go Rescue Pet Adoption Center this weekend, and we are here on the finale day, which, again, by the way, right now we have two things open to go towards your donations, or to put your donations towards, rather. At $3,000 total raised, we will have a bonus run of Cuphead. And then also, while you're raising for that $3,000 total, you can also attach your donation to our bid war open right now to be able to name the blooper in Mario Mon, which is a run that's coming up very, very soon. So if you want the chance to be able to name the blooper something potentially from Octopath, potentially from Mario, potentially from Cuphead, now's the time to do so. Exclamation donate in chat to get started.
All right, thank you so much. I'm going to make sure every character is at full health before this fight starts. And then I'm going to save once again, just because, again, this fight is... the fights in this run keep getting scarier. So this is going to be Albus. This is going to be the second of the three men we're trying to track down.
I'm ready.
So we can summon the villager we just summoned because she has a bow, and this boss is notably weak to bow. She's gone. But thankfully, with Shackle Foe and then the highest tier, or the lowest tier of higher health from Tressa, the Mercenaries tier will actually buff the physical defense. So if another character gets hit here, Primrose should hopefully stay alive. Yeah, there we go. Unfortunately, this is a little bit fishy, but I should be able to make it work from here.
I see.
I am ready.
We just kind of need to... There can be a little bit of an accuracy issue on this fight. We're going to try and use Primrose and Cyrus to break Albus here. So I just have to hope a lot of my dagger and sword hits hit, which they did not. Unfortunately, Cyrus got blinded, so that's pretty bad for him. But I should be able to back this up thanks to Therion.
Let's do this.
I'm going to... Yeah, I'm just gonna spend the turn here, and then get Therion through this turn. And we're going to use that higher help again. This is a pretty funny fight, but I have gotten it working. We're going to use an energizing pomegranate, which will make Tressa. It just gives Tressa BP, pretty much.
You like that?
And using that, she will have enough BP to
You like that?
use the full power higher health again. So we're gonna throw veteran soldiers, and that should be the end of the fight. A little bit unfortunate, because Primrose died turn 1, our NPC summon ran away. Which is not very good, because we wanted to use her bow attacks to help with the break. But we made it work. We got through the fight, and that's what's important. Just getting to the other side is good. Everyone was alive, so everyone got the experience, and that's all we can ask for. We are going to teach one more skill to Therion here so that he can get the support skill Fleetfoot, which just makes him really fast. And with
I
that,
always get mesmerized by the music in this game. It's
this
so
music's
nice.
so good. It's one of my favorite parts of this game. But like again, everything is my favorite part of this game.
Fair, very fair.
So we're heading to one more side dungeon here, just to stock up on some loot before the final fight. We are going to grab a lot of money and an extra large soul stone, because the final fight can be... The final fight is pretty resource intensive, so we want to do the most, like, with what we have. With that being said, we are going to teleport to Everhold, the chapter where Primrose's 4th and final chapter takes place. I want to check how much soul stones I have. I have 1 large and 1 medium. Sounds great. There's an NPC right over here who will sell me a medium and a large stone. I need to have 2 before entering the final dungeon of each. And would you look at that? I have 2. So the final dungeon here is actually really tricky. It's pretty big, and it's a mansion dungeon, or it's like a mansion dungeon considered in the prospects of the game, which means if you remember, we do not have, like, we won't have our step counter reset between, like, screens of the dungeon. Thankfully, as you saw in the last dungeon, we can just save and quit on the screen transition, and the game's autosave will just put us right there. But I'm actually going to handle this dungeon pretty interestingly. I'm going to go pretty far out of the way to pick up these 2 treasure chests, and then just teleport and leave the dungeon. I'm then going to go to this item shop and start selling a bunch of the items we've been picking up throughout the run. And if I have everything I need, I should be... That's just, like, just the right amount of money. But with that done, with like those items out of the way in the dungeon picked up, we're going to head back. Now that that's not going to like ruin our step counter forever. And we're going to make our way through the final dungeon. There is going to be a little door here with some money in it. Boom. And then this is the screen transition. Once I get through here, I'm going to return to title with the autosave. I don't know if I brought it up too much. The game does autosave literally every screen transition. The only exception is if you if you start a cutscene on one screen and the cutscene ends on another screen. From here, we're going to get another cutscene as we're about halfway through the dungeon. We're going to head up these stairs. There's going to be a chest down here that we want. And you know that thing I just said about like a screen transition or like a cutscene carrying you onto another screen? Yeah, this is one of them. So we're going to get put onto this next screen. We're going to head down here to an optional area to pick up an item. I believe it's on the right side. I believe wrong. Here it is. Yep, there we go. And we might get into encounter because of the extra steps, but I just hit a save, so like an auto save, so I'm gonna just like let it rock if it happens. I'm gonna make sure everyone is healed. I have all I need, I think so. I think the best I can do at this point is just make my save file and hope for the best. I got into encounter right here.
Here I come.
Yeah, so I might die to this encounter, but I just made a save. So like, we're just gonna save the game. Like, we're just gonna load that save and be all set. Unfortunately, due to the small movement club I have, we have to sit through this first. Maybe this is a bad omen. It's fine. Surely it's fine.
Sorry.
There we go. For context, okay, so like, yeah, for context, that's how much damage the like normal enemies are doing right now in this area of the game.
Yeah, that does not look easy.
Yeah. So this is going to be the final boss. This is going to be the last man we were trying to track down, Simeon.
Time for the main event.
He's going to sit on stage with two puppets. We are going to get the physical attack of this guy down. We did put a support skill onto Cyrus called Cover, so that if an enemy or if a party member is close enough to dead and they get attacked, Cyrus will step in to take the damage for them, which is really nice. But Cyrus thankfully did not have to do that. We are going to launch a firestorm to get some of the thing down here. We are going to use the bandit tier of hired help because they use axes, and that's going to break both of the front puppets. And then Primrose has her trusty dagger, which is going to break Simeon. From here, we need to set up this fight pretty interestingly, because we're not going to kill immediately. We actually don't want to kill immediately, but we are going to set up the Armor Corrosive. Now, on this turn, we're just going to do as much damage as possible. We're going to do 2 Armor Corrosives like this here to save Therion's BP for a different part of the fight. And we're going to get 2 of these large soul stones out onto the field. And that, combined with a hired help, will take care of the puppets and a good chunk of Simeon's health here. So there go the puppets. Simeon on this turn is just going to strengthen his little chair here. We are going to use a thief skill called Steal to steal a soul stone from Simeon here. And then Cyrus is going to help break the boss. Tressa is going to use small pomegranate here, with combined with the BP gain from the start of the new turn is going to get her to max. And sure enough, after we throw these small soul stones, I'll be able to end the fight. Now, I've been lamenting over the existence of this boss the whole run, so you might think, like, hey, that went well, didn't it?
I would say so.
Yeah, so I wish we were done.
Oh. One of those bosses.
Yeah, with no save spot in between. Let's start the real trial.
Okay.
So this fight is pretty dependent on who attacks first here. We want to see who goes first. If it is Cyrus, we can use Insight to make sure he is the one that is getting attacked. And then Therion gets to use Shackle Foe so that Simeon is going to deal less damage.
My turn now.
We are also going to buff that physical defense. And then Cyrus is going to die. We use Insight, so all the attacks were targeting him. But we're just going to revive him right back. Unfortunately, with Cyrus... oh no, he went first. I'm just going to have him heal himself a little bit, I guess. Because he's going to try and buff himself, and he's dead again. Okay, that is pretty bad. I need to change this fight around a little bit. We're gonna have... Oh, that was my last revive. Okay. Oh, no, it wasn't. The menu was just cutting it off. So I need Primrose to defend here and hit through all 4 of these dagger hits. Okay, we have the boss broke.
Do this.
We are going to... Unfortunately, Tressa is before Therion. I didn't get to defend here, or I didn't get to use Armor Corrosive yet, so I'm going to have Tressa defend. This is going to throw the fight into a little bit of whack, but I should know how to recover it from here. I'm going to... Okay.
What is the logical course of action?
I'm just gonna have you throw something. Yeah, this is unfortunately... there's a lot going on. I really wanted to have the boss already armored down by this point, like before last turn, but because Cyrus died twice, it just wasn't possible. Can I heal Cyrus anymore? No.
Like that?
Okay, this is fine. I don't think Cyrus needs to heal anyways.
Take this!
And Therion and Cyrus both have max VP, so we should be in a pretty good spot, honestly. I'm going to organize this fight a little funny. So at this point, what's happening with Master of Silence is that the whole party just got silenced, which means that they, as you might be able to tell, they can't use skills. So what I'm going to have Cyrus do is defend here. We're going to delay this break a turn after we would usually do it. So now we have full 2 turns of Simeon being broken. I unfortunately messed up my BP a little bit. I got a little over what I was supposed to do. It should maybe still work out. Only way to find out is to just rip it.
Here.
Yeah, unfortunately, this might have been a completely self-made error at the end of the fight. Yeah, this girl does no damage.
Oh.
Let's see. Therion is going to lower that. No, he's silenced. Okay, so I do lose. I do just kind of lose, unfortunately. And it was kind of entirely my own fault. Maybe I can get people to... No, he's going to do an attack here.
Let me help.
I think it's pretty over.
Let's try
We'll
this.
see what he does this turn. I think he does an AoE attack. I think he does an AoE attack. What do you do? No, he does Master of Silence again. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's really bad. Yeah. I'm just gonna have to let him take me out. Unfortunately, I just played this fight wrong, like right at the end. Unless I can survive for 5 turns. No.
Like this.
Oh no.
Please just attack me! This game takes really long to like reboot if you close it, which is why I was hoping he would just end things faster.
Don't.
But with 3 attacks here, okay, come on, please just attack me. There's one.
Out of my way. No, you don't.
There we go. Yeah, so that's unfortunate. Yeah, no, that was entirely... This fight is really tricky to navigate because there's really no telling who will die at certain points and how you have to adapt to it. And with that comes the potential for human error on top of RNG. Human error in this run, this is going to sound really funny. is not the biggest threat. Like, obviously this is an RPG, you want to speedrun it, but like, a lot of speedrunning comes from knowing where things are in the menus, and kind of like a few preset plans on fights, depending on where they are. So, just really unfortunate that like, I got a kind of bad combo, and that's an AoE attack. Cyrus is dead. Yay? Bad. Really bad. I can not fix this, I think.
Let me help.
Cyrus is moving before the puppets here. Maybe I can still make some. So he's moving third. Yeah, okay. If I live this attack, nope, he's just killing the whole party.
Like this.
Oh,
Yeah. This is kind of rough, but it's fine. As serious as the fight is, it's once we're into phase 2, there are multiple winning combinations. I just gotta like navigate them. We should still be good here.
Time for the main event.
My water bottle is basically empty.
I'm ready.
It's fine. This is a really bad turn order. And we got an AoE attack again. Yeah, so if we don't get defense up or attack down on the male puppet and they go for an AoE attack, the whole team just dies.
very tough fight. Very
Yeah.
tough fight, rather. Yeah.
2 fights in a row that are both like really just annoying like this.
Chat, can we get some hype for Laurie? We have got this. We're gonna see him fall out of. Does he fall out of the chair? I hope he falls out of the chair. That's what he deserves right now.
He dies.
Okay, well, in essence, that's falling out of the chair. So I want to see that.
Okay. And there's another sweep, so Cyrus is dead again. Yay, I love everything. I'm gonna navigate this a little backwards. And by a little backwards, I mean, it's so doomed.
I'll get my money.
Yeah, Cyrus is pretty needed here to do these puppet breaks. So I'm just gonna kind of throw down the fight again.
Can't end like this.
We're gonna get it this time, I believe.
Yeah, we are, for sure. This is also why we want Therion to be fast. We want him to move early so he can, like, debuff attack stats more reliably. Which is why it's great that he's totally moving first.
I am ready.
Therion, come on, man. Okay, so good news. That's what that's supposed to look like. Bad news. Cyrus is still dead.
Yeah.
Okay, if Cyrus is going... Nope. Okay.
I'll get my money.
Yeah, this is another just unfortunate, like, we don't have anything, the puppets aren't broken.
We need Cyrus to get it together.
We need Cyrus to get it together.
Can't end like this.
Yeah, now Tressa is dead, and that is, like, worse.
Is that just her death line? It can't, like, if I died and said that, I'd be like, that would be rough.
It can't end like this, end like this.
Just,
There's another sweep.
Like this.
I am sorry.
come on, Cyrus. Please.
Come on, Cyrus. Come on, Tressa.
We
Come on,
need
everyone.
you. Everyone, yes.
I think Primrose and that one wasn't really Tressa's fault. I think Cyrus and Therion are to blame here. It's the boys. Of course, it's the boys.
Of course.
Time for the main event.
Okay.
Out of
We
my way.
get a Therion first, so we can lower the attack of the male puppet here. But if it goes for the sweep, that's still pretty bad. We get an armor crush. Okay, we just need this thing to not attack Cyrus. We're back to phase 2, as long as the rest of this fight goes well. We got the fire blast off. That's the scariest part of the phase 1.
Okay.
So we're gonna get our break on these 2 puppets. We're gonna get our break onto Simeon.
I see. How about this?
Okay.
I see. A gift for you.
Won't hold back. I'll get my
And the second one should die to this last.
You like that?
Cool. Now we just have to deal with the next turn where he's just gonna sit there. We're gonna steal the Soul Stone like we did before. We're gonna get this guy out of here.
Let's do this. This should do the trick.
And unfortunately, Tressa is moving last this turn, so we need to get through everyone else's turn. I mean, it's just a small, minor bit of time, but... Oh, I maybe messed up. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. He's just gonna, like, strike a pose again. So I was supposed to kill him with medium soul stones. I forgot to do that. Fortunately, I can just throw daggers at the problem until he's broken again. And now I can throw my medium soul stones.
That's the way to fix a problem. Just throw daggers at it.
Yep.
Try this on for size.
There we go. All right.
How is that?
Let's see how this fight goes here.
And while we're getting into it, I do want to read out that we have a $20 donation from Madslad89. Thank you for your donation to No Glitches Allowed 2026, helping support the Go Rescue Pet Adoption Center and getting us even closer to that $3,000 milestone. If we get that milestone before the end of our, excuse me, not our next run, but before the end of the finale here, then we get to extend that finale with a bonus game of Cuphead.
Here I go.
Okay. This is not nice. It's weird. This is a weird one. Okay. I have a decent through line here. Cyrus is going to die again. But we can revive him. Primrose is going first with the ability to break. Therion is right here, is before Tressa with the ability to armor break. So Tressa is going to be able to throw out Max Vet, and then Cyrus, because of the defend, is moving before Tressa. He will be able to use the jam we picked up to fully restore Tressa's BP. These two are going to throw out large soul stones, and then Tressa's going to fire off another round of the veterans.
I'm ready.
From here, it should be a pretty likely win. Our defense down is for 4 more turns, or is for 3 more turns, and I should be able to kill him too. It just all depends on BP, which we have BP on Cyrus and on Cyrus and Therion. So Cyrus and Therion are both going to launch 4 sword attacks. Tressa is going to defend, and we're going to use an herb to get rid of the silence on Tressa. So now Tressa is going to be able to throw her last set of the veteran hired help that we need. And we do still need to do a little bit more damage. Thankfully, we have 2 Fire Soul Stones. That should be enough.
What's this now? A gift for you.
There we go. Time is going to be after we skip the cutscene after this fight. There's only one cutscene before the credits for Primrose.
Oh.
And time.
GG.
Thank you all for donating for like the hardest individual fight in the game.
It was fun to watch.
Yeah, you definitely saw the ups and downs of it, that's for sure. I could have done that first try. Again, that was entirely my own bad. But I think, again, I got to show off just how evil that one is, which I think really makes it a bang for your buck. Thank you to everyone who donated for the single story bid war.
Yes, you definitely showed it off for us, and it lets me know that maybe that's not the first boss for me when it comes to this game. Primrose definitely has an interesting story.
Playing casually, I did start with Primrose as my first character, but like you can tackle anything in any order. People usually just do all the characters like chapters, like everyone's chapter 1s then 2s, so they're a lot higher level. The recommended level for chapter 4 is like 45. I was definitely under 20.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also didn't buy
Definitely.
like any armor
That
or
also
weapons.
okay. Maybe it'll be a little
or
better. Or weapons, just
skills
anything.
or anything.
Just
That's the
fair.
power of hired help. Hired help is like the best
Fair.
ability in speedrunning.
Very
yeah,
fair.
that is the end of Octopath Traveler. I'm aware the final boss took a while, so I won't try and be too long. Shout out to the community. Community for this game is amazing. The routes are amazing. Just everyone's super fun to be around. And I'm glad I got to show it off, even if it was a bit of a struggle at the end. The game is still super fun, super important to me, and I love it to death. Thank you to No Glitches Allowed for having me twice, yesterday with Metro Gravity, and today with Octopath Traveler. Please check out the rest of the event. Please support Go Rescue. If you want to find me, you can check me on Blue Sky and Twitch. And thank you so much for watching. Please enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you again for that run. And thank you, chat, for being here and for getting us to see that Primrose run. It was definitely quite a treat. We are getting set up for our next run right now, which again is Hollow Knight Silksong. Now, with that, we do still have an incentive open for that as well. Take Isla to the dog park. If we can reach $100 before we reach the final boss in Silksong, we will be going to the dog park to play with some toys and give them some scritches. So we'll take a quick break and we will be right back with No Glitches Allowed 2026. All right, so Chad, how we feeling? We are getting so close to the finale. Again, I'm so sad. I always get sad on finale days. We're so close to that. Just to give you an idea of where we're at, we have Hollow Knight Silksong coming up next, followed by that Super Mario Mon run, and then Blueprints. Now, that could be the end of the marathon, but again, if we can get to $3,000 before the end of Blueprints, we'll get more marathon. We'll get to see Cuphead at the end of the marathon. Right now, we are at $2,658 raised to the Go Rescue Pet Adoption Center. And I feel like we can get that 3,000 to get that bonus run, everybody. Exclamation donate. And then when you are on that donation page, don't forget, we have an incentive and a bid war that you can also attach that to. With it, we have the bid war for naming the blooper in Super Mario Mon. That's going to be our main and our starter Mario Mon used throughout the run. So if you want to give us a interesting name for a Mario squid that for some reason, again, I'm confused on it. I don't know why Mario can actually just stomp on squids in the water. I will try to understand that physics very soon. But if you want to give us a nickname for that, you can attach it and use that bid war with your donation. Or again, with Silksong, if you want to go to the dog park, we need to reach a total of $100 marked towards that incentive. So when you're on the donation page, you can click on either going to the dog park in Silksong or towards the bid war to naming the blooper. Again, with either of those, it also will get us closer and closer to that $3,000 milestone. So it is a 2-for-1, no matter which one you pick. while we are getting set up, chat, also don't forget, stay hydrated, keep your posture good. As soon as I said that, I realized I'm being a hypocrite. My posture was not at all in the slightest bit where it needed to be, but we fixed it. So fix your posture if it needs to be. Make sure you're hydrated, get some snacks. I am excited to see this Silk Song run coming up in a second. And also, if you're getting snacks, tell me what kind of snacks you're getting because I I'm hungry and I'm gonna need something to eat for the finale. So let me know what you're gonna get.